Hello everyone and welcome back to Stories with me, Jesse. Today's stories come once more from the brave individuals who remain on the front lines over at Reddit/talesfromretail. Let me know what you think of these stories in the comments, as well as any suggestions you might have that we may just use in a future installment. So strap yourselves in and bring your shopping list with you, cause we're getting started now. Our first story is titled, The Out-of-Stock Customer Responses. I'm sure every last person here has faced this before. The customers who act like stores should be 100% stocked 100% of the time. I worked in a clothing store in the past, and one thing which bothered me is dealing with customers who want an item we don't have. Hey, do you have this item? We're sold out. Do you have any in the back? We don't. Are you sure? Yes. When will you guys get more? I'm not sure. I'm not in charge of ordering merchandise, and when we do get shipments, there's no guarantee we're getting every item in it. But your website says you have it. Our website doesn't say our store stock, it shows our online store. How can they have it but you guys don't? The online store is a warehouse. They have a giant location to store every item in boxes. We're limited in space. But I came in at a past date and you guys had it. Chances are it's sold out in that time. We've had many customers shopping here since then. Some items I find out from the manager we'll have in the afternoon. I spoke to my manager and they said we'll have this item in the afternoon once the shipment truck comes. I can't wait that long. I came from another city or even another country. Today's the only or last day I'm in town. Do you know if the competitor has the item in stock? I'm not sure. You could check and find out. Don't you know what they have? No, I don't work there. Aren't you affiliated with them? No, they're our competitor. But they sell the same things, don't they? Yeesh! If I had a nickel for every time I went through this conversation with a customer in the past, I'd seriously have a ton of nickels. As much as I wish that working retail gave you some kind of product locating super abilities, not everyone you meet in a store is just trying to dismiss you. And you shouldn't ask 1,000 follow-up questions expecting a different answer. I mean this in the nicest way, but don't ask if you're just gonna argue that we don't know what we're talking about. Moving on, our next story is called, Is My Daughter in Here? This happened to me a number of years ago, but it's been on my mind lately, so I thought I'd share. I used to work at a popular clothing store, and at the time this story happened, I was running the fitting room. It was a summer weekend and we were busy, so I was running around like a headless chicken trying to count garments, put customers in fitting rooms, keep the place clean, etc. Enter Karen. Is my daughter in here? A fair question, but believe it or not, I did not know who this lady's daughter was. I've never seen this woman in my life. I didn't see her come into the store or who she was with. And frankly, due to the sheer volume of customers I had been dealing with up to that point, I doubt I would have taken note of them anyway. I don't know, but you're welcome to go in and call for her. Blank stare from Karen. Is my daughter in here? I don't know, but if you want, I can let you in and you can call for her. Now Karen's starting to get the look on her face, because obviously everyone knows who her daughter is except for this stupid girl in front of her who can't even tell one innocent woman's daughter from the rest of the hordes. So why does she even work here? Also, there's a lineup forming behind Karen who all look a little uncomfortable at this point. Is my daughter in here? Ma'am, I don't know who your daughter is. Is she in here or not? No. Thanks for nothing. And off she f***ed. I was baffled. The customers behind her were baffled. My fellow employees who sat back and watched the whole thing were baffled. Just another day in retail. I never found out if her daughter was in there or not. I hope they managed to find each other. Dear God, would you repeat yourself one more time because it wasn't getting through to me before? Holier-than-thou examples like this one have actually kept me up at night in the past. Like some kind of sick retail brainwashing tactic. I'd love to know if you've ever had a similar encounter and invite you to talk about it in the comments section below. Our next story is titled, Woman Tries to Make Me Feel Guilty for Not Checking Her Out When I'm Off the Clock. Okay, so I wasn't sure where to post this at first. This happened a few years ago. I've since left retail but wasn't aware of this kind of thing at the time. I was working at a big name retail store, which I'm sure anyone can probably guess which one. I had just gotten off of work. It was late, and I just wanted to go home. I was walking with my sister, we both worked there at the time, towards the door where I had to wait for my wife, who also worked there but was off that day, to come pick me up. There were some people over at the self-checkout. The alert light was going off and no one was around. Now, I know what that's like. I've had it happen several times. So I understood this lady's plight. I was walking by with my sister when the following conversation occurred. Hey, can you help us? I would, but I'm off the clock, so unfortunately there's nothing I can do except go get you somebody.
But you're right here!
Yeah, but as I pointed out, I'm off the clock and can get fired if I help you without clocking in. I could walk back to clock in just to help you, but that would take even longer than me just going to get somebody. That seemed to satisfy her, and so I went to find a coworker who was on the clock to help her. Just to clear up any confusion, my sister was off the clock as well. That's why she couldn't help. The lady got her situation handled, and I was sitting on the bench waiting for my wife to get there. Lady, as she's walking by me on her way out,
You should have been the one to help us instead of being lazy!
I just ignored her because I was sure she was just having a bad day. Customers are usually pretty understanding, especially if you tell them you're off the clock and want to go home. I'll admit it can be a little irritating to get stopped on your way out, but if it's something small like locating a product or grabbing something from the top shelf, I was totally fine helping out. But lady, handling money or a register off the clock usually results in a termination, and I'm sorry, but a job isn't worth losing just so you can have some kind of satisfaction. Our next story is titled, I worked in a toy store, and this is one of my favorite tales from the past year. A guest came in from the other side of the state specifically to get a kit for their kid. It was a bad kit and wasn't even popular when we had it in.
So you don't have it?
Nope, we stopped making that product over 3 years ago.
Are you sure?
Yep.
You had it in last month.
Nope, I do almost every shipment in this store, and I can guarantee we didn't have it then.
Okay, you had it last year?
I have been doing nearly every shipment for the last 3 years, and I haven't seen this item a single time.
Can you please check the back?
We don't have it, but I'll check just in case. Goes to the back, takes a 30-second break, comes back out. No, we don't have it, and we will never get it back in. It is a retired product. We don't make it, we never will. You can try Amazon or eBay or secondhand retailers, but our company will never make it or carry it again.
Okay, it's $140 on Amazon. Don't you have it for $90?
I'm afraid we don't. Sure, it was $90 when we had it, but that was in 2016. We are currently in the year 2020.
You ruined my son's birthday.
Oh, I'm sorry. He was looking in our catalogs from such a long time ago. Here is a current one. You are welcome to look for an alternate. I show them the only set that is the same kind of build that we currently make.
The only similar product you have is made for children who are 5 years old. My son's 11.
I don't make or design the product. I only sell it. I'm sorry you didn't find what you are looking for. If he really wants it, you can get it for $140 online. For an older kit, that's not a terrible price change, and it looks like it was the only one left. Better hurry or it will be gone.
Them, ... What a total moron people like this are. Do I really even need to share my opinions on this encounter? On the flip side, I've had people yelling and screaming and trying to return an item they insisted they purchased from my old department when I worked there as a manager for over 10 years. And trust me, it was never on my shelf, and it wasn't in our system either. Funniest part was flipping it over and pointing out a sticker that said, "Only at Target," and they still wanted to argue about it. Our final story is titled, Comparing Apples with Pears. Hello again. We sometimes encounter customers who will put their produce in the same bag. Let's say green and red bell peppers. I know it's the same, but unfortunately those have a separate PLU number and it needs to be weighed separately. Some people know, but a lot of others don't. No big deal. We carefully open the plastic bag and pull out the green ones, weigh the red and switch, then put them back in the bag. It's kind of annoying to pry those plastic bags open so we can reseal it, and it takes much longer. Not to mention they'll stare me down and say,
"Why are you touching my bell pepper?"
and,
"Why are you taking so long?"
But I get it. They're the same price, so why not put them in the same bag? One day the stars aligned perfectly, and lo and behold, the apples of a certain kind and the pears have the same price per kilo. In the morning, I'm on the register and a lot of older people shop, and I see that those two fruits are very popular. Also, every customer reminds me that those two are the same price. How do I know? They tell me. Every single one of them tell me that the produce I laid out in the morning, that it's the same price. The price tags I had to put up. After a while, this lady enters my lane and lays down a huge bag of apples and pears in the same bag, all mixed up. The stalks are sticking out, and it looks like it could explode any moment. She stuffed those things in there really good. When the bag reaches me, I take it and try to undo the knot. That thing was impossible to open. The general conversation I've had that morning happened again.
Why are you opening it? They're the same price.
Then I say, those are maybe the same price, but they have a different code. I need to scan them separately. And that's the end of it. This lady didn't want to let go and said it again, louder.
Those are the same price.
I've had it. Every time the same explanation and the line getting longer, people staring at my fingers when I try to undo those impossible knots. I just wanted to get moving and do my job without explaining it over and over again. For different colored paprikas, I get the mistake, but just different types of fruits? Why do you think supermarkets only operate in prices? We never operate solemnly on prices. It's all codes and numbers associated with the product. I slipped up and laughed disapprovingly. That's the same as putting a toothbrush and a carrot in it and expecting me to enter one code because it's the same price. And I continued. The lady stammers, and I really thought she was going to the manager to complain how rude I was, but thankfully she didn't and just kept silent for the rest of the transaction. Yeah, I was wrong, but I was done with dealing with the customers who will snap at me when I try to open their plastic bags because I was just doing my job and not messing up the inventory. I was really done with customers thinking we memorize the product with the price and just type it in. Who does that? Oh boy. If there's one thing that I am grateful for in my being laid off as a result of the virus going around, it's that I don't have to deal with these kinds of experiences anymore. Only in retail can you find such flawed logic from rude or ignorant people that just keep coming in endless waves while you're trapped in a small square space. I really feel for the people who continue to put on brave faces and take these scenarios in stride. And if you're currently in this field of work yourself, then pat yourself on the back for being a hero in these difficult times. Anyways, that's about all the time we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you once again for tuning in with me, Jesse. What did you think of these stories? Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content, and check out what other stories I have for you. Have a beautiful day, and try to be nice to someone. I'll catch you in the next one.